All right. Well, I'm pleased to have Cole here on Mike's Real Estate Podcast. I don't know if you remember this. First came across you. Something was happening in a real estate Facebook group. Someone was being rude to you, and I
Oh
picked
yeah?
your side. And I think we both left that group shortly after. But
Huh.
that was
I don't
probably
know if I
about four
remember that.
years ago or so. But I
Okay.
appreciated the way that you were dealing with it and the points you were making. My memory's not that good, but you already made a really good impression on me. And so I've been following you for a
Awesome.
while. I saw that you moved from Kansas City, oh no, Topeka, right?
Speaker, yeah.
You moved from Kansas and you moved to Tampa. You had a big change there, and we'll
Go
talk a little.
Chiefs.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
can't
go
forget that.
Chiefs.
It's still
How
still in my heart.
50 years, right?
50 years. Yep.
And you got to go
50
to Disney
years.
World
Went to
for
Disney
the
World
parade.
yesterday. Saw Mahomes. It was a pretty epic experience for sure.
And it's fun to live that through other people, even if you don't have your own team in there. So
Sure.
you made a big change and went to Tampa Bay, and
Yes.
then had some
Yes.
things there, and you're kind of starting off all brand new in a new market, and I want to talk about that a little
Yeah.
bit.
Yeah. Absolutely.
So
Absolutely.
let's dive in. You're also a coach. You have a coaching group,
I do.
and
Yep.
you've been doing that. Been coaching for 4 years.
Yep. Yep. Since
Um,
2016.
you love that, right?
I love it. I love helping people. So it's so rewarding.
It
Pretty
is. This
awesome.
is a hard business, and a lot of people don't understand how hard this business is, and there's a
Hmm.
million ways to do it, and they get lost in the weeds.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Let's start with that a little bit. When you coach someone, how do you approach them and figure out how to coach them, how to get them where they want to go?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing with coaching and understanding that everybody's different. There's not a like one avenue. It's not like everybody drives the same road in a major town, right? So when we dive in with somebody early on, we really have to figure out who they are. Everybody has different personality traits. Everybody learns differently. Everybody, moves at different speeds. Some people talk really fast. Some people talk really slow. And it's just kind of getting used to that. And then it's what is their vision of the world that they live in? How do they see real estate? What was the point that they got into real estate? And what do they see their future being? And once you kind of get a and I would say a very surface level grasp on that, you kind of know a couple different paths that you can take someone. Ultimately, though, coaching is a very interesting subject because it's like a 50-50 world. There's 50% of the people out there believe in it at a high level. Every mega achiever in the world believes in coaching. Just so you know, I'm going to put that out there. Almost everybody. I mean, everybody you can imagine. Everybody from if it's Oprah to Tony Robbins to anybody who is a mega producer in the world, they believe in coaching. Heck, they most of the time they own a coaching company of some sorts, and people pay them a lot of money for that, right? And then you got the other 50% that they think they can do it on their own. They watch some YouTube videos, or they can, and most of the time that's true to a point. But it's kind of like this: if you were driving a car down the street with no mirrors, could you still go forward? Yeah, of
Right.
course you could still go
Yeah.
forward. Wouldn't it be a lot easier to drive forward when you know who's on the left side of you and who's on the right side of you, and if something's barreling down behind you? Well, that's what coaching is. It's not that we a coach is going to, you know, push you forward or accelerate you forward. It's that we're going to get you moving faster from a standpoint of knowing that you're not going to veer in and hit something over here and
Hmm.
hit something here. We're going to be your mirrors. We're going to be your extra eyes and help you kind of stay on a course with the right course. Are you taking the right path? Are you going down the right road instead of the road with all the potholes, right? And when people get that in their head that they need the coach, like it opens up so many worlds for them. When you look at the people that are like, oh, you don't need coaching, you could be accountable to your friends and all that. Well, coaching necessarily isn't accountability, and I think that this is a big misconception that people have around coaching. It's not a coach's job to make sure you are lead generating every day, right? The coach's job is to get you to understand what is the importance and the value and the necessity to lead gen every day, and what are you losing because of it, and what happens when you gain it, and how are we going to do it, and what are the numbers, and what it's not. Did you do it? Yeah, we're going to ask you if you did. We're going to follow up the numbers. But that the coaching is so much deeper than that. It's analyzing, it's prospecting, it's diving a lot deeper. And that's why you see people that typically go like in real estate, usually when they hit about 5 million, they start to go, I'm kind of getting a little bit out of my comfort zone. And then they go to a coach, right? Or 7 million. Or right, brand new agents, people coming into the business get a coach right away. And those are usually the ones that show success. And then we also have that we're going to dive into multiple areas of your life. And a lot of coaches, they'll stick to one specialty, like where myself is, I'm an NLP practitioner. So I really believe in the person as a whole, right? And understanding their personal feelings about things and how do they personally see themselves? How does their world grow because of what they're doing outside of their business and not just a business? And I talk to people all the time about things going on in their lives. I've coached people through divorces. I've coached people through tragedies. I had somebody that was in the Las Vegas shooting. I've had people that were in the hurricane in Houston. I've had people that were that have lost significant partners and things in their life that have coached people through. So it's not just about understanding how to sell real estate. It's about how to live life and how to have a more well-rounded approach to it.
True success, right? Not just the
Yeah,
monetary
yeah.
success.
Yeah, business goes away. If you don't build your life to a point where if the business failed, you still go forward, then you're all on the business. You're completely built on the business. You have to build yourself as a human being strong enough that if the business got taken out, you just go rebuild it again.
Well, that's a nice point you made, because so you were in, oh, hey, the lights turned off.
Now you're really glowing.
That's going to be annoying. There we go. Got to move.
What
I
was it,
guess got to
motion
move around a
sensor?
little bit more. Didn't plan that part.
That's all right.
So you were in Kansas, and
Yes.
you started in 2006. You sold 500 homes, and
Yeah,
then you saw
over
an
the course of,
opportunity in
yep,
Tampa Bay and left.
absolutely. Yep. Yep.
And that didn't stay together the way you expected, and you're
Yeah,
having to
that's okay.
start over. So exactly what you're
Yep.
talking about, you had to set yourself up, build the person you are so that you could keep going regardless of how things change. So
Correct.
let's talk about that opportunity you had and what you were able to do in a
Yeah.
short period of time, because I find that pretty impressive.
Yes. So the opportunity, I was recruited by a mega team in the Tampa Bay area to be their director of. It started as director of expansion, and it was like, we're going to get you in. We're going to have you just take over the whole expansion side of our business. Well, as the conversations grew and grew and grew, it became very clear that I was basically going to fast track to the CEO position. So I was the director of sales and the director of marketing. So as the director of sales, director of marketing, my job was to come in and basically break every system, everything that the team was operating on, and see where we can make it better. Everything from moving the TV on one wall to another wall, like just like every detail to understand people's productivity, understanding what we need to change. And so I joined the team in January, like sometime in January of last year, and they were at about 16 deals pending for January. And there was 23 people total on the team. About 14 or 15 of them were actively selling. So the numbers were about one a month, really, one pending per person a month. So not that great, right? And so I came in immediately, and I just saw a huge opportunity to bring in one thing, and that was gratitude. And I think that what I noticed from a starting point is when you have an organization that is as large as 23 people, operations staff to virtual assistants to in-house people to agents to whatever, right? When ISAs, whatever, when you have 23 people and you have no basis of real basis of gratitude, people are just going to be doing whatever they want to do, right? And they're not going to quite understand what the whole camaraderie piece is. So immediately I knew that it was very significant of us to bring in a gratitude piece. So every morning, 2 pieces of gratitude. We did a morning power up call at 8:30 for 15 minutes. We ran around, we did a roll call, give me 2 pieces of gratitude, and how'd your day go the day before? So you always had to do 20 contacts. You always had to do, I don't know if you can hear the neighbors just started mowing next door. Okay, good. Like really right now of all things. You always had to do 20 contacts, and really the goal was obviously to set a listing appointment. And we tracked listing and buyer appointments set, or I'm sorry, we only tracked the ones gone on and the ones taken. And before I came in, they were tracking everything, right? It was, oh, you went here and you did this and you did that. And really what started happening, because they didn't have a really great one person tracking it, was people just was like, I think I'm over here, I think I'm over there, I think I'm over there. So I said, well, let's just get rid of all of that and let's focus on 4 numbers. We're going to focus on appointments you went on, appointments you took, what you closed, and how much you made. And that's all we're going to focus on, which in Keller Williams, we call that the 4 conversations. And what we realized when we started doing that was we kept missing the 2 years prior to me joining that team, they were missing goal by 40 to 60%. I mean, it was like half. Let's say they had a goal of 300, they did 150 units, right? And then they had a goal of 300 again, and they did 160. You know, it's just like not correlating. Well, what we realized was that they weren't realizing that they were going on appointments and taking. So we just got really good at, okay, well, we know where we're at. And I mean, the number just started getting better and better. And then, so we did that consistently for 3 months, and the numbers exponentially went up. We went to 32 pending, then we went to 35 pending. And then as of June, like 5th, I think it was, we were at 53 pending with a track to do 500 units. And then, life happened, right? Life happened. Things were not working in my world the way that I saw working, and that's fine. And it was great. And it was a great opportunity for me to leave the organization, put them in that great trajectory. And, you know, they ended up doing 100 units more than they did the year before. And it was great. And I'm very happy for them. And what happened was my wife and I decided that we needed to be in our world, right? We were living in somebody else's world, and we were building somebody else's world. And that's just the truth behind it, is we were building somebody else's world. And when you're a mega achiever and a mega producer, it's really hard to live that way. So we decided in June of last year to start our own real estate business and the coaching company full time in the Tampa area from scratch, not knowing anyone.
Welcome. So Tampa Bay does not have a normal run up in the spring season, right? Don't they have more snowbirds, and isn't there busier time in the winter? Is that true?
Yeah, not so much in Tampa.
Okay.
The more south you go, like kind of where Sarasota down to like Fort Myers to Miami, like those get really a lot more snowbirds. Tampa's really cultural, right? So like there's a lot of little cities that make up Tampa Bay, right? So there's Tampa, the city, there's St. Pete, the city, and they're pretty similar in size and structure. And then you got all these little sub cities like Clearwater Beach. Everybody heard of Clearwater Beach. It's #1 beach in America, right? So you got Clearwater Beach, and then we're in Palm Harbor, which is like right next to Clearwater. And then you got, all these little towns, right? And they make up Tampa Bay. And so most of these towns are established. Like the house has been here a long time. The snowbirds, there's not a lot of like RV communities and things like that, which is a great opportunity for somebody to build if you can get land and stuff, because I believe that is happening. So we don't see a huge ramp up like you would think you would, right? Like the weather's nice. I mean, into December all the way up to Christmas, we were at 85 degrees going to the beach. Week of Christmas could go to the beach. And yet the real estate market, we don't ever really see like, oh, it's just, nothing happening right now. Like a lot of people do. Like when I was in Kansas, when the snow came, you ain't selling nothing, right? And so in Tampa, you see a little bit of slowdown, but I think it's more because of the holidays, because it's early on in the year, because there's changes and stuff. And then like right now, there's a huge influx of properties coming on the market. So it stays pretty consistent like most of the country does. It's just that when you get further south, they're ramping up in the October, November range.
So that 19 or 16 to 53 wasn't just the ramping up of like Portland market. We have a ramp up from January to June. So you have this normal market just going on all the time. So
I mean, just like any market, there's going to be more towards the end of school year, summertime,
Sure.
and beginning of school year. So we had a little bit of a ramp up. Ultimately, when we looked at the whole organization and why did we really have that ramp up, right? Well, it was consistency in what we were doing daily. So we added in a consistency factor. Everybody had to report their numbers of contacts every day to the entire team. So there was the accountability piece. Like you didn't want to be that one person on the team who doesn't do their 20 contacts or doesn't get the appointment, because the goal of the team is everybody's goals individually coming together that make the number, right? It wasn't the owner said, oh, we're going to do 300 units because I want to do 300 units. It's okay, cool. How many you would do? I want to do 24. Okay, I got 24, then so and so. And then that equaled the goal. Well, half people were showing up and not even doing 50% of the goal they set for themselves because they weren't one, being accountable to themselves for one, and that's always the first place, right? Number two, they didn't understand that their goal was everybody's goal, and them missing their portion was the entire team not hitting goal, right? So when we got really down deep and talking with them and sitting with them and analyzing everything and getting to understand like what it means to be in a team environment, I mean, we had people leave. We had people that said, yeah, I just don't want to be that. I don't want to be accountable like that anymore. I don't want to mess up for everyone. Great. Thank you. I'm glad we finally got that out, right? Because it was going to happen eventually. To the people that finally stepped up. I mean, there was a guy that was doing 8 deals. By the time I left, he was on track to do 16 deals when he never did more than 10 in his entire life in a year. And it's like, okay, so we kept going, kept working. And we never got into the whole, like, you don't do 2 a month, you're off the team. Like, it was about culture. It was about gratitude culture and what we were building. And so when we looked at the ramp up, like it was the people that were doing like 1 a month, all of a sudden are doing 3, 4 a month. I mean, one of the guys on the team had 8 pending who had never done more than 3 in a month. And he just
Wow.
really bought into the goals. And then what we did was we shifted every week. We had a team meeting, and this was the game changer. So the team meeting always started with a motivational video. It was a 1-hour meeting, and the first 10 minutes right away, we didn't even say anything. Lights go down, TV screen comes up, and it could be anything from listen to Tony Robbins to a motivational video about a charity to just one of those motivational videos of the words just scroll, like whatever. It was some kind of motivational video that we did every single team meeting for the first 10 minutes, followed by a recap. Give me 2 things you learned. Everybody went around, give me 1 or 2 things they got out of that video. And it really started honing in on people to be a little bit more like intentional about what they're doing. Then we went in and we had departments like, what is client care doing? What is the list? What new listings do we have coming? What open houses do we have coming? What do you need? So we went down the marketing person to the CEO message to, like, we had it structured. Everybody was like, boom, 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 boom. After everything was done, I would always come back up and I would always bring 2 people up in front of the room and give them gratitude, like pour into them, like emotional. Like I was just like, oh, tears, they're in tears, because it truly showed gratitude to them. And that was everything, because that brought everybody together and they understood what it meant to be part of an organization, to be honored, to be respected, to be cared about. And they wanted to bring more to the table, which in turn took us from a number 16, which was on track to do just over, that's not even 200 units, to on track to doing almost 500 units. And,
Wow.
and that's all it is, right? It's continuing to grow and getting people to be a part of something a lot larger than themselves. That's what
You know,
was cool about it.
that gratitude is really important, I think. Every morning we start with, what are you grateful for? We try to make sure that it's not the same thing. It's easy to say family, whatever. I
Right.
get down to
Right.
the granular stuff like clean water. We take that for granted. It's those things that we have to remember, all these good things that go on. So we do
Mm-hmm.
that. And then in our team meetings, well, there's a joke that, our team leader, Jamie Beltran, people say, oh, he's a big deal. And he does not like accolades. He doesn't like the attention like that too much. And so someone bought him this big deal, little, little block with some, you've seen those around. And
Mm-hmm.
so, he put it on his desk and he'd move it. And then it might've been him. He's like, we should give that to people on the team weekly.
Mm-hmm.
So what we do is we go around the room on Tuesdays for our meeting and say, who was a big deal this week? And the big part for me is, sometimes, agents are coming and going and doing things, and we don't see what other people are doing. And we're not aware that someone went through a rough um, negotiation, or someone really stepped
Sure.
up and helped out this other person. So it gives them attention for doing, above and beyond. And then other people get to hear it, because really, as a society, we're not great about giving people, that the positive accolades all the time. We feel a little weird, and
Yep.
it should become more normal. And so this is to normalize that a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
that's what we do.
No, I think that's great. That's great. How many people you have on your team?
So we've expansion and contraction. We've had some contraction recently, so
Oh,
we're down to 5 at the
sometimes
moment.
that's the best.
You get a
You have to
reset,
go
reboot.
sometimes. Yeah, I mean, clear out, reset, reboot, and it helps you build your processes and your systems a lot stronger.
Yeah, no, I agree with
Yeah.
that. So you were with this team, you had a plan, you had a
Yep.
vision, and then
Yep.
things changed. And
Things
so
change.
you are now looking at starting a real estate team, real estate
Yeah.
career, brand new in a place
Yep.
where, did you know that many people?
Nope. Maybe 5.
So what was like, oh, well, here we are. What was step one for
Yeah.
you?
I think the biggest thing in terms of so here's a big piece for people to understand is when you when you have a world that changes in an instant, right? Like our world changed in an instant, and it was a little bit unexpected and a little bit expected kind of thing, but we weren't preparing for it. The week before we split ways with the team, my wife and I closed on a $500,000 house. So, and we both were on that team, right? We were both in that world. We went from, and to put this in perspective, like we kind of we kind of dissipated everything that we had. I sold when we moved to Florida, we sold our investment properties. We sold off a lot of stuff, right? And then built some houses and did some other things. So finances got a little tighter than expected. And when we left, we went from having income to no income to, like, when I say no income, I mean no income, zero. In June of last year, having almost $10,000 a month in expenses to not missing a single payment 1 month later, to not missing a single payment on anything yet, right? And never will, right? Because there's something that a lot of people don't understand, and you have to understand about things is when you have to get, when you have to do something, your brain will find a way to make it work. It will literally bring in all the opportunities that it could possibly bring in. Immediately, what happened was I got phone calls from people that said, "Hey, what happened?" And I was like, I talked to them. They're like, "Would you like to coach our team? Would you like to help our team?" And all of a sudden, the calls started coming in, right? And so partnered with a team, helped them get going, got some other people, closed a couple real estate deals that we had pending, finished that out, and then just kind of grew. Now, here's the difference though, is that doesn't work for everybody, and I completely understand. But the point that I'm making is when and it's not, people get all like foo-foo about this, but when we really put ourselves out there and we put things in the universe, and we have to do something, our brain will figure out a way. Our brain will point it out. And if it's, how to do something, like it could be right in front of your face. Until you need your brain to see it, it won't see it. And that was what happened, is we had to survive, right? We're still in that survival stage, right? Building a new business, 2 new businesses at the same time. Let's be very clear about that. 2 new businesses, my coaching company and the real estate team. We had to look at so many opportunities. So you have to go after sub owners. You have to go after expireds. Like that's just a given. However, honestly, that's getting harder and harder to do. Those people are more savvy. There's a lot more information out there. People are just better at this game than most realtors are. Just honestly, they out-script you.
Script
They
versus script,
outmaneuver
right?
you. Yeah, I mean, most of the time, the general public is a better scripter than every realtor that is new in the business, right? And it's because they have them to think about. Realtors have all this other stuff to think about, so they can't hone in. You got to hone in on that stuff. It's another topic. However, what we found is, like, there was opportunity, and instead of saying no to things that we were saying no to before, we finally started saying yes. Starting new in a new market though, like it's very hard because it takes sometimes 18 to 24 months to really start getting a sphere database built and working that and building those relationships, and you have to be super intentional about it. And that's kind of a little bit of what we have done so far, is just get more intentional. We use social media a lot to connect with new people, agent to agent referrals, and LinkedIn for business professionals to, I mean, there's so many things like that you can do. And sometimes it's working late. We have 3 kids too. I didn't tell you that. We have 3 boys under 5.5. So like we're doing all of this getting them supporting these, dealing with this and working these businesses. So it's been quite interesting. And, but it's about foundation. It's about who you are here and here. Right. And if you believe it and you can stay out of that, I mean, I can't lie. I mean, I went through my own depressions and my own ups and downs. However, I knew how to break through it. I knew how to fix that. I knew if to ask for help. Right. So, I mean, I'm a very open person, so I'll tell you. In November of last year, just before the holiday started, I had to call a doctor and get some help because I was like really starting to get into my own head, like, oh my God, what did I, what did I end up doing, right? Like, how did this get this way? And I asked for help, right? And anybody that's listening, like, if you're going through something, get help. And if it's get help through a coach, like, how could I coach somebody to be better if I'm not better, right? And go to a therapist, go to a doctor. Like, these are huge, important things so people can be better, because you have to be better before your business will ever be good.
A lot of people get stuck on an island, thinking, I got to man up. I got to figure it out myself. I don't want to look
Yeah.
weak. And I
That
think
is
that's
weak
why
though.
people don't get help, is coaching, whatever it is. Cause
Well, what you just said
they're
is weak though.
what?
Like they're like, I said, what you just said is weak.
Yeah.
And I think that people need to understand the difference. I can do it. I can figure it out. And I can fix this is a weak statement.
Mm-hmm.
That is a failing statement. That is your ego in front of you,
Mm-hmm.
and your ego will be your demise. So you have to understand how to get rid of your ego. Asking for help is releasing the ego, realizing that sometimes you need that extra help. You are not a professional psychiatrist. You are not a professional at medical doctor. And even if you are, they get help,
Yeah.
right, when they need it. And when people are like, oh, I don't need a coach, or oh, I can figure this out on my own, or whatnot, better move around. That's their ego talking, because the ego will keep you comfortable. You doing it yourself is you hanging on to your money and hanging on to this, and I'll do this. But what happens when you release a lot of that, and you release that ego, and you understand that it's okay to ask for help in a real estate business, help in a real estate coach, your business will exponentially increase. Your income will exponentially increase if you do what the coach says.
Yeah.
So sorry to interrupt you there.
No, it's perfect. So there's an agent somewhere who is starting in a brand new city. What should they do on day one? No sphere.
So day one, no sphere. I would call up a local bar association, and I would get the list of every probate and divorce attorney in the area. And I would start calling every one of those and taking them out to coffee. If you got set 30 appointments in 30 days for coffee, one a day, with a probate attorney or a divorce attorney, I can almost guarantee you will have business rolling in within 3 to 5 months. That's number one. I guess I should go back, like we talked about earlier, is I do recommend that new people join teams. I believe in the idea of joining a team, especially a well-established team. And I'm not talking about a team that is still early building. I'm talking about an established team, because they're going to have legion sources that are going to be flowing daily, hundreds and hundreds of leads flowing in. They may be low quality, but they're leads, and they get you working and they get you hyped. So I recommend that you do join a team, a producing team. It'll help with you understanding the new laws typically in the city, especially if you're coming from another state. Like, we came from Kansas to Florida. The laws are different, the wording different, the contracts are weirder. Like, seriously, they're different. And so getting that insider information is a real quick curve and change. So I recommend that, even if you only do it for 6 months or 12 months or 2 years, like, it's a huge opportunity for you to learn faster, understand the market, and give you time to build your database.
That's what I say about joining a team, is you get hockey stick growth as a new person. You get so I was an agent I'm still an agent, but I was an active agent from 2001 to 2015 before I joined this team. And I was an assistant first, and I got to walk into, and I was an assistant to 2 rookies of the year. So I got to see so many deals, and I got to have so much. I knew the paperwork backwards and forwards. I knew how to do CMAs. And so when I walked out, 2000, for the first 6 months, which went into 2002, I made $40,000 back then. But it was because I had all this stuff lined up. And so trying to figure this out and make money is really
Mhm.
hard. So if I
Well, there's a
suggest
hundred.
everyone become an assistant or join a team for those reasons, to have that growth. And even when I joined the team, I got to see more deals faster, and I even got a better sense of what the market was. Where I'd been a solo agent for so long, I was doing
Mhm.
some deals here and there and whatever, and you don't get that full breadth of the market as you do when you're on a team. And
Mhm.
that growth is just amazing.
Yeah, and I think that another piece that you kind of said there is an individual person is going to do about 180 plus tasks every day, all the time.
Wow.
And when you join a team, you get down to about 40 tasks. And a lot of people don't understand that is there's actually, if you Google it, I don't have one in front of me, but there's Keller Williams put out probably back about 10 years ago. They put out a list of all the actions that an individual agent does, and I think it's even from maybe the Millionaire Real Estate Agent, like some handouts or whatever. But it shows like 180 some tasks, and then it shows like what it looks like to be on a team, and it's like they cross out, cross out, cross out, and it's like, wow, that's a really powerful perspective. Because when you have somebody inputting your listings, somebody coordinating closings and making sure that documents are getting processed and making sure that all the documents are in the folder, and sometimes even sending out requests for documents on your behalf, or everything from marketing, getting yourself out there. If you try to do all that, you're going to do this much business. You get with somebody that when you're building a team, when you start putting people in those places, your business naturally goes like this. It just does, right? Because you get into your core. Because here's what I'll tell you: an agent should only do four things: lead generate, lead follow up, go on appointments, negotiate contracts. That's your top 20% of your business that will make you 80% of your money. Yes, you have to do paperwork. You have to do, it's part of the negotiation stuff. However, you have to do that stuff. As an individual agent, you got to do marketing. You got to do all this extra stuff that is not necessarily lead gen. Stuffing envelopes is lead gen, by the way, and people don't think about this. Sending handwritten cards, that's lead gen. Doing these things, that's lead generation. However, what people really fail to do is follow up. And here's what
So
I'll tell you
bad. It's
is,
so bad.
yeah, I mean, oh great, I generated a lead. I could probably go on my computer right now and find 5,000 leads, right? If I was to follow up with them 7, 8, 12, 20 times, how many of those deals are still lingering? How many people clicked on a button 12 months ago who are now getting serious? I was coaching this gentleman about 6 months ago. He followed up with this guy every week, every Monday. You just send him an email. Just send him an email. The guy never responded. He sent 54 emails. So he went 1 year, 2 weeks, every week, every week. All of a sudden, guy responds. He's like, all right, I'm ready now. Never even replied to this guy before. Like a lead comes in on the internet, follow up, follow up, follow up, follow up. But it still showed green, still showed he was getting it, not unsubscribed. Follow up, follow up, follow up, follow up, follow up. 54 follow-ups, ended up closing a $500,000 deal. The guy referred him 2 more people because he didn't stop. Sometimes it takes forever. So
This is
that's
what I
the
try to
difference.
explain to the agents is it's not about your urgency. It's about when they're ready. You may be urgent to sell a home this month, but that does not
Yeah.
mean their urgency is there. And so that is about being patient with them not responding. Patient
Mm-hmm.
where they said, oh, that they wanted to see a house or whatever, and then they don't follow through, whatever. It's just
Mm-hmm.
not their urgency yet. They will be there. They're
Yeah.
communicating. Don't give up.
Yeah.
But people like the nice and shiny and new and
I think there's something else that needs to be said, and I think people need to get this in their head early on is people don't care about you. And I'll tell you this, I don't know how many times through selling houses with people that I became like best friends with these people, like to the point of like, I'm gonna go over there after we close. We're gonna hang out. We're gonna drink beer. We're gonna have a good time. We're gonna watch sports. We're talking about this. Deal closes. I can't get a hold of them to save my life. Like seriously, I mean, I can't even count at all how many times that has happened. And what I realized years ago was people, and this is relationships in general, people will if they could see a benefit in you, the wrong relationships, right? When they see a benefit, they will use that benefit as long as they can. And when they don't need it anymore, you don't hear from them anymore. How many people in life have that happened to you? So whoever's listening to this, like, think about that. The ones who don't want anything from you, the ones who are truly just like hanging out and just being chill about things and not, those are the people you want to be around, because they don't go away. They're always there in the capacity you need. So find those people and understand that your real estate clients will 9 times out of 10 not become your friend. They need something from you right now, and you have everything you need. After that's done, they're done with you. Doesn't mean you don't follow up. Doesn't mean you don't always touch on them. Doesn't mean you don't invite them to parties. Doesn't mean you don't pamper them with gifts and other things through the holidays. Just know that you have to understand that business pleasure is not, they typically doesn't come together.
That's true. That's a good point. And I know some people have been, they do take it a little personally. And there's lives.
Guilty. I mean, I'm no different. I mean, we're human beings, right? What I find really fascinating though is it's the people that take everything so seriously, right? Yes, this is a serious business. Yes, you have to be serious about it. Work with agents. Work with them. Don't work against them. You're all on the same side. You maybe represent a buyer or seller. They maybe represent the buyer or seller, but you're still on the same side of one common goal. One goal is to get the damn deal closed. So, hey, they need something. Yeah, let's figure out what it is. Don't, oh, no. Like the agents that are just like so hard up about being hard against the other agent to make themselves look better for their client. Remember this, they don't care about you. All they need is something from you now, but you may have to do a deal with this person again. And trust me, life is so much better when you stop fighting against every single thing that comes your way. Sorry, I had to get that.
That's, I've got some real estate traps, and one of them is agents get into this business thinking they have to fight other agents. And they walk in as a fight, and it's so much easier if you make friends with the other agents. Deals get done because you're friends with another agent, because they know it's going to be a smooth transaction. If you're the one I know I have to battle, I don't want to deal with you. Yeah, there's negotiation, but it's just business, and it's just negotiating. Lawyers do this all the time. It's not personal, and you don't have to make it personal. You don't have to fight. Soapbox.
Yeah, we can both get on that one for a while. Yeah.
There's something else I was going to ask you, and it blanked on it. Well, I appreciate your time.
Yeah, absolutely. Anytime, man.
Talk about your coaching business, how it runs,
absolutely.
How you do it, and how people can find you.
Yeah, so I run 2 packages. So it's bowlinggroupcoaching.com, Bowling Group Coaching on Facebook, Cole M. Boling, you friend me on Facebook. My cell phone number is 727-269-4811. So I have 2 packages that I do. One is an individual package and one is a team package. So the individual package, it doesn't matter what level of production or business owner, excuse me. If you're a business owner, let's say, like I got a gal right now who's a professional blogger. Like she's not real estate, but she's a professional blogger. I've got people that are I do life coaching with people, to mega agents, to people doing 300-400 transactions, working with a lady now who's in Gary Keller's top 100. And I can tell you this, it doesn't matter. I charge $750, and my $750 is a call every week. Give or take a little bit of vacations here and there, but it's pretty much a call every week, right? Holidays kind of come up every once in a while. And then, it's having a business partner. Like you have me, you can get with me, you can call me, you can text me. Some of them call me 3 or 4 times a week. They text me, they tell me what's going on, and just kind of keep me updated. And so I work with them on that. The other side is the team concept. The team concept is I do a team group coaching kind of thing where it's Zoom like this, up to 5 people on your team, 1 hour a week. It's $1,500, so it's not bad. It's $1,500, and then everybody on the team, up to 5 people, is they get a one call a month, in individual 30-minute phone call or a Zoom call, whatever they want. And like I said, that's $1,500. It's $500 per person to add to that group. So if you have 7 people, then it's $2,500. Kind of makes sense. So, and I usually cap those at 10 people because it just gets to be a lot. And so we would do like a two different group kind of thing if it was a larger than that. So that's basically my two options that I just kind of keep it even for everybody.
And your philosophy, your coaching philosophy, do you have one that's a quick
Yeah, I
tagline?
think, yeah, it's kind of funny you say that. I believe that everybody is a whole individual. I believe that there are areas of your life that you need more help than others. And I truly believe that everybody has the ability to be super successful. I also believe that we all need a little bit extra help and a little bit extra challenge because we get stuck in our own ways. And at the end of the day, we have to know that we can be better, and sometimes it takes somebody else telling us that. And then the last part is, I want you to take my belief in you when you don't have belief in yourself and use that, because there's going to be days you don't believe in you, and I always believe in you because I've seen some miraculous things through coaching.
Yeah, I've used that line a lot, especially on my niece. Use my belief in you. If you don't have any, use mine.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Well, awesome. Well, thank you so much for your time. I appreciate it. And
Yeah.
maybe we'll
And
do
then
this
any
again.
Tampa Bay referrals, Bowling
Tampa
Group,
Bay.
Tampa Bay. All right.
Awesome.
Sounds
Thanks.
good.